how it's quiet, the tenseness is upon us, where the anxiety is mounting. This has got to be one of our most exciting ones this evening. I can feel it in the air. With that being said, welcome to Tuesday's March 10th, 2020 City Council Agenda Meeting. I now call us to order. We will now have a pledge of allegiance by myself. If you will please stand and address the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Recently, our neighbors to the north, Nashville, has experienced a real traumatic time with the recent tornadoes that has come through. So at this time, I would like for us to pause for a moment of silence and keep them in our prayers as they recover. Father, we give you thanks for this and each and every day you give us. We ask for a blessing on those citizens in Nashville, Davidson County who has just been touched by that tornado that recently hit. Father, let them know that everything is within your power, within your hands, and that they should have faith and believe in you, that better days are ahead as they recover from this traumatic times. Father, I ask this in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Thank you very much. We don't have a special presentation, but we have some special guests with us tonight. We have the American Heritage Girls Troop, number 1180 out of Hickson. Would you please stand and be acknowledged, ladies? Oh, come on, ladies. Would one of you like to speak and tell us why you're here? It's yeah, come up to the podium, please. Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah,
I'm so
yeah.
sorry. I'm not used to
Yeah,
it.
you're on TV, so smile.
Okay. We completed our government and citizenship badge, and so one of the requirements is to attend a city council or other local government organization meeting. So thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
Thank you.
Ladies, stand up. You can kind of coming in. Stand up, please. Whoa, let's give them a round of applause. Thank you. Y'all weren't expecting this, were you? Okay, now we'll move on to the order of business for your city council. Can I get a motion to approve the minute? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposed is nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to ordinances on final reading. Madam Clerk, let's start with 5A.
An ordinance amending Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 3, Advertising, Section 3.2, definitions for purposes of this chapter.
We have Councilman Smith, followed by Councilman Henderson.
Move approval. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. Motion carries. Thank you, sir. Item 5B.
An ordinance closing and abandoning the unnamed alley at the northwest corner of 146GN008 and the denial of the abandonment of the 200 block of Robert Street and the unnamed right-of-way to the west of 1715 Ivy Street as detailed on the attached map, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Byrd.
Move to approve. Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposed is nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to ordinances on first reading 6A.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 121 Honest Street from C2 Convenience Commercial Zone to M2 Light Industrial Zone.
Councilman Gilbert.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item B.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone part of property located at 604 Watts Avenue from R1 residential zone to M2 light industrial zone.
Is there opposition present? Is the applicant present? What's your pleasure? Councilman Gilbert.
I'd like to amend, instead of saying enterprise, it should say properties.
Okay.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Second. We have a motion and a second. Okay.
Can I make an amend to approve?
The change?
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor to amend. Is there a second? Second. All in favor by the sign of aye.
All right.
Opposes nay. Motion carries. Now we have a motion to approve.
Can I make
as
it-
amended.
Can I make a motion to approve as amended?
Yes, sir. It's been moved and properly seconded to approve as amended. Any questions on that? All in favor by the sign of aye.
All right.
Opposes nay. Motion carries. Moved as amended. Okay, now, at this time, I will yield the desk to Vice Chairman Henderson.
Madam Clerk, would you please read 6C?
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to lift condition warehouse use only from ordinance number 8739 and previous case number 1986-302 from property located at 4001 Rossville Avenue, more particularly described herein, subject to certain conditions.
Is the applicant present? Yes. Is there any opposition present? Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. Yeah, John, to make sure we have the appropriate one in record, would you please
Yes,
read
sir.
it, please?
I'd be happy to. Give me 1 second, pull that up. That's not it. Give me 1 second here. Here we go. This ordinance shall be subject to uses being limited to commercial, office, residential, warehousing, and wholesaling only.
Okay, excellent. Then, with that, I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Councilman Ledford, did you have a comment?
That was the second.
Okay. Any questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. So moved.
Thank you.
6D, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located at 3000, 3006, and 3012 Rossville Boulevard from C2 Convenience Commercial Zone to M2 Light Industrial Zone.
Is the applicant present? Okay. Is there any opposition present? Councilman, what's your pleasure?
With that,
Hit you.
I move to approve.
Second.
I move to approve.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. Motion carries. 6E, Madam Clerk.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38 zoning ordinance, so as to rezone properties located in the 1300 through 1500 block of Workman Road, 4400 block of Walt Hall Avenue, and 4400 block of Divine Avenue from R2 residential zone to M1 manufacturing zone.
Is the applicant present? Is there any opposition present? Councilman?
With that, I move to approve.
We have a motion on the floor to approve and a second. Any questions? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. So moved. 6F, please.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 5500 St. Elmo Avenue from C5 Neighborhood Commercial Zone to UGC Urban General Commercial Zone, subject to certain conditions.
Is the applicant present? Is there any opposition present? Councilman?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. John, would you please read the conditions for approval on this?
Yes, sir. Okay, so approving UGC subject to 5 conditions. 1, auto-oriented uses, warehousing and wholesaling, auto-oriented businesses, miniature golf courses, and similar outdoor amusement facilities, hospitals, self-service, storage facilities, open-air markets, animal hospitals, kennels, drive-throughs, and hotel and motels shall be prohibited. 2nd, business hours between 9 a.m. and 10 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. on weekends. 3, no outdoor amplification of sound. 4, dumpster service prohibited between 10 p.m. and 6 a.m. And finally, number 5, building height limited to 1 story.
Thank you very much, John. Mr. Vice Chair, with that being said, I move to approve.
We have a motion to approve and a second. Any questions? All those in favor, aye. Any opposed, no. Motion carries. At this time, I will turn the floor back over to Chairman Oglesby.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman. Madam Clerk, please read G.
An ordinance to amend Chattanooga City Code, Part 2, Chapter 38, zoning ordinance, so as to rezone property located at 1010 Georgia Avenue from UCX 6 Urban Commercial Mixed-Use Zone, 6 stories maximum height, to DCX 6 Downtown Core Commercial Mixed-Use Zone, 6 stories maximum height.
Is there any opposition? Is the applicant present? Councilman Byrd. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Now we'll move on to Public Works, a transportation item, actually. Madam Clerk, please read H.
An ordinance closing and abandoning partially the right-of-way of the northwest and northeast corner of 4th Street, southeast corner of 3rd Street and Cherry Street, southwest corner of 3rd Street and Walnut Street, as detailed on the attached map, subject to certain conditions.
Mr. Bailey, did you have something you'd like to share with us on this?
Mr. Councilman, which item is this? I'm sorry.
Item H, transportation, the beach company.
Oh, sure, yeah. Mr. McMahon, I believe, was here earlier, and he had...
Is that applicant here? He's right there, yeah.
Yep. He had indicated that there was what we think was a clerical error in the item, and was requesting that it be deferred.
What, 1 week?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Well, if you have to say something, come on up here, yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yeah, I think it's just a clerical error, and we just need about a week to figure it out with staff and get back in town to have it heard.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You have
Mr. Chairman, this is in your district, but given the information that we just received, I move that we defer this till March 17th.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposes nay. Motion carries. Thank you, gentlemen. Madam Clerk, we are now moving to resolutions. 7A.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an office lease with Hamilton County Mental Health Court in substantially the form attached for 108 square feet of office space in a portion of the Family Justice Center at 5705 Upton Road, identified as tax parcel number 157MA012, for a term of 2 years with the option to renew for an additional term of 2 years in the amount of $2,376 per term.
Councilwoman Byrd, followed by Councilman Gilbert.
Move to approve.
Been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item B.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an office lease with Street Grace, Inc. in substantially the form attached for 106 square feet of office space in a portion of the Family Justice Center at 5705 Uptain Road, identified as tax parcel number 157MA012, for a term of 2 years with the option to renew for an additional term of 2 years in the amount of $2,332.08 per term.
We have Councilwoman Byrd, followed by Councilman Gilbert.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item C.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Economic and Community Development to award home program funding to the Chattanooga Community Housing Development Organization to develop an affordable homeownership opportunity at 220 North Hickory Street for an amount up to $134,000.
Councilman Byrd.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item D.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a license agreement in substantially the form attached with Friends of the Festival, Inc. for Riverbend Festival 2020 for the period of May 22, 2020 through June 1, 2020.
Councilman Ledford.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item E.
A resolution authorizing the fire department to purchase the International Association of Firefighters, AFF, Fire Ground Survivor Program, which includes training the trainer, instructions, props, and equipment, which 90% will be reimbursed through FEMA's Assistance to Firefighters Grant, AFG, with a 10% match, one amount of $77,000.
Councilman Gilbert, followed by Vice Chairman Henderson.
Move to approve.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item F.
A resolution authorizing the appointment of Justin Howell as Special Police Officer unarmed for the Department of Transportation to do special duty as prescribed herein, subject to certain conditions.
Councilman Gilbert.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item G.
A resolution amending resolution number 30175 entitled, "A Resolution Authorizing the Office of the City Attorney to Renew Purchase Order Number 536370 with Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services, Inc. for city property and terrorism, equipment, fleet, mobile communications, and fine arts insurance services for the second and final 12-month renewal term in the amount of $482,155 to reflect an additional amount of $11,185.20 for a total amount of $493,340.20.
Councilman Gilbert.
Move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. H, please.
A resolution to confirm the mayor's reappointments of Jeffrey McClendon and Carl Henderson to the Chattanooga Housing Authority Board.
Councilwoman Byrd. It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item I.
A resolution approving a special exceptions permit for an existing liquor store change in ownership located at 6015 Dayton Boulevard.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For my colleague in District 1, I will respectfully move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay.
Abstain.
Motion carries. Item J.
A resolution approving a special exceptions permit for a residential plan unit development for the property located at 4560 Webb Road and part of an unaddressed property in the 5100 block of Highway 58, subject to certain conditions.
Believe that's you, Councilman Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was wondering if the applicant is here. Yes. Is there any opposition here? Did not think so. Hey, Mike, I got a quick question if you don't mind.
Yes, sir.
Some of the issues that have been brought up about this, dealing with transportation specifically, I know I did talk to John about this, and I believe CDOT had been out. Are you aware of them taking a look at Webb Road and deciding whether or not there was any additional need for traffic safety or any other devices of that nature?
I'm not aware of that being communicated, no, sir.
John?
Yes, I think I talked to CDOT staff. I think what they did is they went out and looked at the road to see as a relation. I don't think they talked directly to the applicant, but they looked at the conditions of the intersections I'm aware of, Mark Heinzer, and they did not think there'd be any additional, like a decel lane or that kind of thing that would need it as part of this project for that road.
Okay, thank you, John. Mike, so the site plan, just to confirm, is going to be attached to this approval. So
Yes,
we're
sir.
going to stick to that site plan.
Yes, sir, that's the plan. Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, I move approval.
Okay,
Or maybe.
okay.
There's one update, I'm sorry, there's one update, I just want to make sure you're aware. The Planning Commission had a note about the condition for protection of the open space to check with the applicant. The applicant had some revised language, which I'll read, and if you want to look at it for another week, you're welcome to do so, sir, but basically, the way that the condition reads for the protection of the open space right now is, this shall be subject to no grading or clearing on community lots except for such as typical items that are not limited to pedestrian paths, trails, proposed detention areas, or the clearing of invasive or dead species or debris, and any similar required maintenance of said area within the intent of trying to maintain this protected open space. So there's some tweaks to that language, which I'm fine with, but if you wanted to look at that another week, because I know it's something that's important, you guys want to check to make sure it's okay. I think the applicant said it'd be okay for a week if you wanted to look at it for.
No, I'm good with that. I did read through it.
Okay.
Thank you, John.
John, that language is not in our resolution.
I know, that's why I'm noting it for the record to be added, to replaced. So you mean to read it again for the record? I'd be happy to.
So it needs to be added as an
Yes.
amendment.
Yes, it would be.
All right.
I'm sorry about that.
Phil, do you? No. I
It's
still
on the
need it on the
floor.
floor. Phil, do you need John to read it again, or do you have it?
I believe I do need him at least to read that last portion of the language on here. Yes, sir.
Sure. With the understanding that the intent to maintain the tree canopy where practical on said community lot.
Okay, all right. All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
Yes, sir.
Mike,
Sorry
you're good
about
with it as is? All right.
Okay, what's your pleasure? We have a motion on the floor in a second.
Yeah, I move for the amendment, sir.
Okay. It's been moved and properly seconded for the amendment. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposes nay.
All right, move as amended, please.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded to approve as amended. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposes nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Item K.
A resolution authorizing the city of Chattanooga to direct the Chattanooga-Hamilton County Regional Planning Agency staff to develop a special exceptions permit process to permit existing two-family dwellings that have lost their grandfather protection to regain their use as a two-family dwelling in the R1 residential zone.
Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to publicly acknowledge the support, as you can see, by the sponsors of this particular piece of legislation that will help unlock housing opportunities in our city, and I proudly move to approve.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Madam Clerk, let's read L.
A resolution authorizing the approval of change order number 2, final for CDM Smith, Inc., relative to contract number W160240101, MBWWTP Solace Optimization Implementation Phase 3, a non-consent decree project for the decreased amount of $1,158,375.13 for a revised contract amount of $549,674.87.
Vice Chairman Henderson.
Move approval.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. M, please.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Public Works to award contract number W12026-203 to Garney Companies, Inc. of Nashville, Tennessee, DuPont Pump Station and Basin Improvements Phase 2, Contract B, for a contract amount of $4,316,520, plus a contingency amount of $215,900, for a total amount of $4,532,420, subject to SRF approval.
Councilman Ledford, followed by Vice Chairman Henderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've heard no issues with this particular ordinance, so I will move to approve.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item N.
A resolution authorizing approval of change order number 2, final for Williams Restoration and Waterproofing, Inc. of Laverne, Tennessee, relative to contract number E18017-201, City Hall and City Council buildings, exterior refurbishments for an increased amount of $13,000 for a revised contract amount of $362,700.
Councilman Byrd, followed by Councilman Ledford. It's been moved and properly seconded from this really fun group.
I was going to yield to Vice Chairman Anderson. That's all right.
Any questions? All in favor by a sign of aye. Aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item O.
A resolution authorizing approval of change order number 4 for Burns and McDonald Engineering Company relative to contract number W16013-101, City Code Reliability Improvements, a consent decree project for the increased amount of $529,069.39 for a revised contract amount of $1,870,299.39.
Councilman Byrd, this is in your district. What's your pleasure? It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item P.
A resolution authorizing the approval of change order number 1, final for Tri-State Roofing Contractors, LLC, relative to contract number Y19003-201, replacement roofing system for Watkins Street's facility, for an increased amount of $3,001 to release the remaining contingency amount of $27,900 for a revised contract amount of $314,545.
Councilwoman Kumrai.
No, no, ma'am.
Councilman Ledford.
I yield to Councilman Henderson.
Second.
Well, we got a second, but we haven't had a motion. Okay, I got this comedy show is really getting interesting. Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Yes. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Q, please.
A resolution adopting the Hamilton County Multi-Jurisdictional Natural Hazards Mitigation Plan and authorizing the Office of Emergency Management to submit the plan to the Federal Emergency Management Agency.
Councilman Ledford, followed by Councilwoman Kumrai.
My light was on from last time, sir.
Okay, Councilwoman Kumrai.
My light was on from the last time, but move to approve.
Move approval. Second.
Okay, it's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposes nay. Motion carries. Item R.
A resolution authorizing the administrator for the Department of Transportation to enter into an agreement with Tally Construction Company, Inc. relative to contract number T 20002-202 for construction services associated with citywide resurfacing in the amount of $7,441,783.71 with a contingency amount of $744,178.37 for a total amount of $8,185,962.08, subject to appropriation of funds.
Councilwoman Byrd.
Move approval.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Opposed is nay. Motion carries. That concludes a very interesting and entertaining part of our order of business for this evening. So now we will move on to purchases. Mr. Simmons.
Good evening, members of council. We have a few items of purchase for your consideration. The first three being from the Fleet Management Division of Public Works. The first item is 2 new blanket contracts for automotive filters being awarded to O'Reilly Automotive Stores Incorporated, doing business as O'Reilly Auto Parts, and to Lee Smith Incorporated for a total estimated annual amount of $70,000. The next item is a purchase of a Navistar 2021 model MV607 cab and chassis, 18 cubic yard automated side loader body, being awarded to Lee Smith Incorporated for a total cost of $240,755. The next is purchase of 2 2020 Autocar ACX64 chassis with a Heil 33 cubic yard Durapack Python side loading body, being awarded to Stringfellow Incorporated for a total cost of $613,966. The next item is from the City Attorney's Office. It's 3 blanket contract renewals for sign language interpretation services, being awarded to Partnership for Families, Children, and Adults, also to Chattanooga Interpreting LLC, and to LTC Language Solutions for a total estimated annual amount of $90,000. Next, we have a blanket contract renewal from the Citywide Services Division of Public Works for bags of ice, being awarded to Tennessee Valley Ice Company for a total estimated annual amount of $29,000. Last, we have 2 blanket contract renewals from Facilities Management Division of Public Works for electrical supplies, being awarded to Gexpro and to Mayer Electric Supply Company Incorporated for a total estimated annual amount of $1 million.
Councilwoman Byrd.
Move approval.
Councilman Ledford. You got it?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Tony, we had the question last year about the sign language interpretation that we use, and one of them is out of state. Can you help refresh my memory and how they actually are able to provide those services? Is it by remote, is it by video? Do they conference in? And do you know what circumstances or events that an out-of-town provider can help us with sign language?
They normally would have an associate with that organization if we need them on site, and it depends upon the nature of what we're needing at that time. We do have 3 vendors that are available. Usually we try to utilize the one that would be to our advantage. They were 3 of the total number of vendors that were approved for that service.
Okay, so they have someone here?
They normally will provide someone locally if needed, and we're in need of that particular vendor to provide that service.
That was the root of my question. Thank you very much. Second.
Thank you very much, Councilman. It's been moved and properly seconded to approve the purchases. Any questions? All in favor by the sign of aye. Aye. Opposed is nay. Purchase is approved. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, now we will move on to other business. Mr. City Attorney, you have something for us?
Yes, sir. Would like to, at least, we have had I guess, an approval of the special permit tonight for Arman Inc., DBA North Shore Liquor and Wine. That will be a retail liquor store that will be at 6015 Dayton Boulevard. And that applicant has complied with all the city code requirements, and that needs to be approved by you on your signature this evening. So that's
Sure.
one item of other business.
Okay.
The other item of business here, we held a mediation in a wrongful death case here involving the city of Chattanooga on March the 6th. It was involving a fatal accident that had occurred on Greenway View Drive. And that case has been settled after mediation for the amount of $162,500, which is subject to council approval. And so I'd request council approval of that matter.
Second.
It's been moved and properly seconded. Any further questions? All in favor by the sign of aye.
Aye.
Opposed is nay. Motion carries. Approved. Anything else, Mr. City Attorney?
No, sir, that's all.
Okay, we have Councilman Ledford, Councilman Byrd, Councilman Coonrod. We'll start with Councilman Ledford.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tonight in other business, I want to remind everybody that tomorrow is 311 Day, and if you don't know what that is, an incredibly important service to our city. It's important to note that the city of Chattanooga had one of the first 311 centers in the country. It was developed by Mayor Bob Corker along with a man named David Eichenthal. Over the last several years, our terrific customer service representatives handling more service requests of more different types than ever before. So this afternoon, I wanted to talk to Senator Corker and try to get his thoughts. So I called him, and what he relayed to me was pretty incredible thinking, I think, for us to all carry forward in everything that we do. He told me that he wanted to create a process that allowed everyone in the city access to city services, and that some residents may not have had that or did not have that in the past, and he felt that was an incredible need. He also told me that it helped create a management tool and an oversight mechanism to gauge response time and efficiency, most importantly, improvement and delinquencies in city services. It was created with the help of a man, again, named David Eichenthal, who came down from New York and was very, very instrumental, and also helped create, I think, the version for the city police department. Senator Corker's comments to me were truly inspiring this afternoon because they told me of how city service responds to the needs of our community, and in the creation of our 311 system, I think that they have done an incredible job in not only taking it and moving the ball forward, so to speak, but increasing its capabilities and reach into our city. If you do not have it on your smartphone, you need to get the 311 app. It is extremely, extremely important. It is one touch to the city. And I was in a community meeting this Saturday at St. Nicholas in District 4, and it was interesting because there was about 60 residents there, and they were talking about how 311 was so easy to use and how responsive it made them. And it made them feel in touch with the city, and that in the past they may have had that disconnection. So I encourage you to use 311 in its multitude of different services. I believe, is Mr. Fazell here? There you are. Hey. The director of 311, you want to come up and just share us a little bit about 311 with us, and I'll stop rambling. I want to hear from an expert. Thank you for coming down tonight, Derek.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. 311 service is the service that any citizen can use to contact the city of Chattanooga. We're essentially your one call to City Hall. So anytime you give us a call or you use the app, which is a wonderful tool, if you don't have that on your smartphone, by all means, see me before you leave here tonight, and we'll get that on your phone. You can also email us and then contact us through Facebook as well. So we handle anything that has to do with non-emergency services for the city of Chattanooga. Over the past year, we have taken over the sewer billing as well. So that's not handled in the Treasury office anymore. That's currently handled in the 311 office. Last year, we were offered roughly 210,000 phone calls. We processed 15,000 emails manually, and our average wait time did go up a little bit. So we were at an average wait time of about 3 minutes last year for the calendar year. Most of our numbers are run off fiscal year, but the calendar year was roughly about 3 minutes. So we currently have a team of 16 people. One of those are part-time, and 2 of those are outsourced staffing employees that are not currently city employees that we have reached out to help with the influx of calls for sewer billing.
Very good. And tomorrow being 311 Day, Derek, do you have any special events going on?
There'll be celebrations all across the country, but if anybody wants to come by our 311 office, you're more than welcome to. We'll be providing lunch to the team, and then we will also have cake and punch for anyone that wants to stop by between around 12 and 2. I would also like to invite all of you guys, council women and council men, to join us, and I would love for you to be able to job shadow with one of our reps.
That'd be great. We can see how the magic works, huh?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Derek, thank you for coming
Thank you.
down, and thank you for what 311 does for our city. And with that, I'll yield.
Thank you.
Councilman Byrd.
Thank you, Chair. So often, we hear that a lot of times people don't get connected or get to sit at the table. Well, this time with East Chattanooga Rising, the 20 acres that are left of the Harriet Tubman site, we're going to have a workshop meeting where we're going to try to get ideas on how that area is to be developed. So we would love to hear from you. We want you to come. If you know anyone who lives from the river to the ridge or beyond, just come share your ideas and how you think we should develop and get this area going. The meeting will be Thursday, March the 26th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. Wednesday, March the 26th, Thursday, March the 26th, from 5:30 to 7:30 at the new Avondale YFD Center. So if you know anyone who lives in that area or if you're out, please stop by and see us. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Byrd. Councilwoman Kumrai.
Make sure he okay.
So what?
The older gentleman who in the hall coughing, like, make sure he okay. I just wanted to make sure he was all right. But I just wanted to say we have the U.S. Census kickoff is going to be on March the 2nd. So people will start getting notices through their mail to their home, asking them to fill out the forms so everyone in their home can be counted. It's count everybody that live in the home. Live-in girlfriend, boyfriends, transient people, everybody. Make sure that you're getting those people counted. If you're pregnant, about to have a kid, we need to make sure that that's noted. We want to make sure everybody is counted in the house. We need everybody in this room to get on board, get your neighbors, family, friends, make sure that they understand the importance of filling out this census form. If they need help, guess what? We've trained staff at the YFD centers, our public libraries, everywhere that can help you. Just get to those locations and someone is there to help you fill out the information that's needed. This is very important, people. Why? Because the data, it shows where the needs are, right? So constantly I'm hearing in my area, in certain areas of the district, particularly in East Chattanooga, the poor communities, that, hey, we need these things in our district. Well, what better way to prove that we need those things in those areas? Because the data shows the need, right? So we need to make sure that we're keeping you informed. Come take advantage of the resources and the help to get it filled out. However, if you need assistance calling them, if that's the way that you prefer to give your information, filling it out, that's the way you prefer to do it. However you, and guess what? We're not gonna use your information, the city or government. So let's keep that separate. This is for the U.S. Census to determine the funding that we get for the city. So, the things that we're crying and asking for, this plays a part in that. So we need to hear your voice by filling it out. We've got pens. We'll give you one if you need one. Just please help get the word out. March the 12th, you will be receiving this information. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Kumrai. On Monday, March the 16th, the Alton Park, Pineywood, Oak Hill neighborhood will be having a fellowship session at the Southside Community Park, where myself, Public Works, Public Safety, the school board representative Tiffany Robinson will be there to simply address the needs of that community, to answer any questions they may have, and look at the great things that's happening in Alton Park and those things that are going to happen in Alton Park. So if you happen to be in the neighborhood around 5:30, that's when we'll be having refreshments. And at 6 o'clock, the listening session will start. So please feel free to come out and join us. That's all I have, Council. If there's no other business, then we'll move on to committee reports. Councilwoman Councilwoman Coonrod, you had something else? Okay, I didn't cut you off. Okay, let's start with committee reports with Councilwoman Burrs. Thank you.
Good.
You're always on.
Glad you noticed, Mr. Chair. So we started our budget process today. We've been going since November, December, but today we had our first public report on the budget process, where we are, the purpose of council input, and we got ourselves revved up to start doing our budget. The budget books right now will be handed out on May 12th, and from then on, through the end of June, we will be educating ourselves, giving budget input for the city. It's the administration's job to prepare the budget and present it with input from us. However, it's our job to approve it and make it happen. So please stay tuned. The other thing I want to announce is that our checkbook is online. And it's very important that money matters with the city be transparent. And so we're putting everything possible online so that there's no secret squirrel stuff going on. Go online, read the budget, talk to your council representative, and have your input heard as well. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Burrs. Councilman Byrd. Councilwoman Coonrod.
Thank you, Chair.
Got to hit your button. There you go.
Thank you, Chair. So today we had the best department that it is, Youth and Family Development. And so we had an update today about after-school programming like the ACT prep, FAFSA, workshops, tutoring, just the great things that we're doing inside of our YFD centers that we most definitely need to increase participation at every last one of them. Make sure your kids are involved. They're going to have some great things coming up like a spelling bee, and our kids love to participate in those kind of things. So we're excited about that and just other opportunities that's available for our kids. So make sure that they're participating at your local YFD centers.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilman Gilbert.
No report.
Mr. Vice Chairman Henderson.
No report at this time, sir.
Councilman Ledford.
No report,
Councilman Smith.
No report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. That concludes this portion of other business and committee reports. Now we will move on to recognitions of person wishing to address the council. Mr. City Attorney, would you please read the rules?
Yes. At the end of each council meeting, the chair will recognize members of the public that wish to address the council. Here's your rules. Each speaker wishing to address the council can only be recognized at the microphone up front for that purpose. No person can have more than 3 minutes to speak. Speaker can address the council only upon matters within their legislative and quasi-judicial authority and cannot address the council on matters which are under the authority of other governmental bodies or agencies. Can't use vulgar or obscene language and use the floor to personally attack or personally denigrate others. Address your comments to the council as a whole and not make comments directed towards individual council members, but come on up.
Anybody would like to address the council this evening?
I would like to, I'm Leroy Griffith, a Brainerd resident, District 5. And a property owner, which is irrelevant. I came to advise the council of an opportunity Chattanooga has to honor a young man who, at age 6, was the youngest member of community Chattanooga Organized for Action. And at age 8, standing next to his grandmother, made some points about the need to do something about police abuse in this city. He's now 16 years old. He attends public school at Ivy Academy, which is a charter school. In economics, he has a 100% point on all his tests, and well, let's just say in politics, he has an A average. He has been invited to attend the National Leadership Conference in Washington, D.C., and I'll give each of you a copy of that invitation. His mother is sitting in the back. She's a city employee who is a parent advocate in the Head Start program. And I'll just pass this out, and if there's anything or anyone you know who could help this young man get to this conference, he would be very appreciative.
And Councilman Smith will pass it around. Thank you, sir. Hit you. No, I did. Mr. Vice Chairman.
Before we got away, do we know the cost of what it would take?
That's a question his mother can answer.
Come, would you please come?
Come on up.
Yeah, come up to the mic.
The cost is actually listed in the document that you see there. I believe it's $2,500. That is part of the cost. I'm paying toward it, but I think it would mean a whole lot more to my son if he had the support of the members of his government, also the members of his city. That would be a lot more meaningful, I think, not only to him as a student, but also to him as a citizen of Chattanooga. The more people that he had to support him in doing this. He's also, I think the first time he spoke, the public speaking was a thing that was done by Booker T. Scruggs on bullying that was on public access television when he was 6 years old. He's marched several times with Chattanooga Organized for Action. He's spoken out about gun reforms because it's an issue that most children his age and younger are interested in. He's also interested in ecology, and so he's spoken out about different topics and different situations that have had to do with how we take care of our earth and making changes as far as that goes. So he's been very involved, but having his government officials show him some support, I think would mean a lot to him.
When is the conference?
There are several different times that it takes place. It's going to be taking place in the summer, but they have more than one session.
Okay.
He'll be attending in June.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Is there anybody else that would like to speak?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is James Chisholm. I'm a resident of Brainerd, District 5, and I just recently moved back into Chattanooga from Detroit. I just got back into the city after 5 years. Not this past Sunday, but a week ago. And while I was gone, I just wanted to let you guys know that I tried to stay informed as much as I could about the city as far as what was going on, the improvements, things that wasn't going well. You know, I always tried to stay up on my city. And I was able to come back, you know, back and forth during the time that I was living there. But one thing that I noticed that when I came back to the city and I was going down Brainerd Road, there's a lot of changes that I found that wasn't great changes. I was disappointed in how the Brainerd area has not grown. I grew up in East Chattanooga, but I spent most of my teenage years in the Brainerd area. And basically, it looks as though it was when I was a teenager, and I'm 42 years old now. There's not a lot of growth. In fact, I was shocked and embarrassed that Food City had moved. So now in the Brainerd area, there's only the Walmart Neighborhood Center, and of course Walmart that's on near Lee Highway, behind Babcock's. So you have this entire section of Brainerd that has no grocery store. Meanwhile, if you go across the river to North Chattanooga, you have a Publix and a Whole Foods probably within a mile of each other. You can walk there. Both are high-end grocery stores. You know, so what I want to know is what's being done for the Brainerd corridor. This is a main thoroughfare throughout the city, and it's an embarrassment to come back to this city after 5 years and I haven't seen any growth. You know, so we have council people that are now running for, you know, have announced that they're running for mayor. But what I would like to invite people to do is focus on the neighborhood, collaborate. You know, we have a council person that has a mediation business. Have they collaborated with, you know, District 5? They basically are right up against each other. Collaborate and help this area to grow.
Thank you very much for your comments. Councilman Gilbert.
Sir, if you stay over, I'll get with you. I'm District 5.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Burrs.
Actually, I wish you'd been part of all the collaboration we're doing. We missed having you here, I'm sure. Councilman Gilbert and I, from the very beginning, have collaborated. We've had community meetings at the Family Justice Center. We have the Brainerd Corridor Plan, which is up on the RPA website. I mean, there's piles of stuff that have happened, so we'd love to catch you up on it. And I will meet you afterwards with Councilman Gilbert and point you to where you can see some neat things are happening. Thanks for asking.
Thank you, Councilwoman Burrs. Is there anyone else? Before I close this out, I just want to thank the American Heritage Girls Troop number 1180 for visiting us this evening. With that, we are adjourned. Yeah. Hey, man, how you doing? Good, good.